Hello class, sorry I could not make it to presentations tonight, but I wanted to get my portion of the presentation done. My part was preparing a SWOT analysis for Phillipos Hellenic Goods. To start out with, I'm going to go over strengths. I had 3 of them. The first one was Phillipos Hellenic Goods. One strength is that they're in a niche market promoting healthier lifestyle, which seems to be a pretty popular trend, not only in the United States, but obviously in Greece as well. And as we saw, it can be a very lucrative one, even if Mr. Philippe did not necessarily acknowledge that to the group. The second strength that I found was, or that our group found, and I'm sure you're all aware of it, is that he had up-to-date facilities. And it really just highlights how he wants to run his business and he wants to see them succeed in the future. The third major strength that we saw, and this is without really going into detail of a lot of these strengths, which I know you've all seen, so I'm trying to get this through pretty quickly. The leadership that Mr. Poli highlighted, it was really a trickle-down effect, and you could kind of see how all the employees really looked up to him and kind of used that sense of leadership, how they ran the business. Weaknesses. The first weakness that I saw was that it was such a small staff that if one person went down, who's really going to fill their role or take over the responsibilities, and it just kind of puts a hardship on the company. If someone goes down, someone else is going to have to fill that role, and we really didn't discuss how hard that would be for the firm. The second weakness is the location of the factory. It's on an island, we all know that. If for some reason the transportation of the boats gets hurt, it could really hurt the distribution of the products that the Phillipos Hellenic Goods has. The third and final weakness that I saw was the fact that they really don't have one supplier, and they kind of go around and look around to different firms on how crop was raised in a year or whatever. So it really puts a lot of more responsibility on an already short staff, I guess you would call it, on having to go out and find possibly a new product or a new olive in a different region, or I just felt like that put a lot of responsibility on a short staff, so that's why I kind of put it as a weakness. Opportunities. The first opportunity was room to grow. It's, as Mr. Philippe kind of told us, he said, you know, we're kind of producing already above where he wanted to be, but there's always that room to grow in a small to medium sized olive oil company. The second opportunity that I found was expansion into other markets, into other countries. This would increase the production, obviously their overall cash flows, if they choose to do so, even though he said that he felt that they were kind of already producing at a rate that was higher than what he expected. Threats. The first threat that I had was accessing money, and all the businesses we found kind of had problems with that. The bigger companies get richer, the smaller get poorer. The country really isn't into loaning companies like Phillipos Hellenic Goods money right now. One, he's not Greek, so that kind of puts a hardship on him. And it's just a threat that if he does decide to expand, where's that capital going to come from? He didn't really highlight where all of his money came from, but we kind of know he sold the tobacco company and kind of got that. But how much of those funds are left to expand the company if he needs to expand it could potentially be, I mean, it's a threat. It's a threat if he really wants to grow. Where's it going to come? I don't know. Threat of the economy in Greece. We all saw it, and if you read any of the news recently, it's kind of still in a bad state. Third threat is overexpansion, and I put this as a threat because if they do decide to expand, we saw with some of their production capabilities that he said, we can only produce so many bottles with the equipment we have right now. But if they do decide to expand and they put in new equipment, that production needs to be there for years on end, right? So he needs to have a solid contract with someone for years in the future of buying his products. And I think that does it for my portion. I hope you all are doing well. I'll be back for graduation. Can't wait to see you. Have a great summer.